Times have I done this, and I still hate it.
I swear Abbott's full enough already.
At least when you escort an inmate to death row, you know he's scheduled to get what he deserves.
Ernesto, you can really be a jackass. You know that?
But you hear what this one did?
I don't want to know, and you know when
He beat his ex-wife to a bloody pulp. Killed her with his fists.
Look, I said I didn't...
Then he drowned one son in the tub and threw the other out a window. Don't ask me to cry for him.
The Suffering is in unique third-person and also first-person survival horror game, developed by the studio Midway Games and released in 2004 to PlayStation 2, Nintendo Wii, Xbox, and Windows. You can play the whole game in the perspective you prefer, first or third person, all of them works well. The game begins as silent protagonist Torque is being escorted by Ernesto Alvarez onto death row in Abbott State Penitentiary on Carnate Island off the coast of Maryland, an island with a long and troubled history. Torque has been sentenced to death for murdering his ex-wife and their 2 children, although he claims to have blacked out during the incident and can remember nothing.
Bring the ruckus, motherfucker! What the fuck you doing, man? Step off!
You need to learn how to use security monitors before progressing to the next training stage. Step into the security control room to learn how to use a monitor.
Red Faction is the first game of a fun shooter series. This one is a first-person shooter game, but there are games that are set in a third-person camera. It was developed by the studio Volition and released in 2001 to PlayStation 2, Windows, and Mac. Join the revolution. Lured to Mars by the Alter Corporation's promise of a better life, thousands have come to seek their fortune and work for the massive mining company. But all is not as it seems. A deadly plague is sweeping through the barracks, and miners suffer daily abuse at the hands of the Alter Guards. Is a revolution on the horizon? A game with multiple weapons, vehicles, and possibilities, really fun to play to this day.
Attention, all personnel. Mine M4 has been sealed.
Better run, miner!
Gungrave Overdose is a fun and charismatic third-person shooter game developed by the studio Mastiff and released in 2004 to PlayStation 2, and later, on PlayStation 3. The game mixes cartoon graphics with a fast and dynamic gameplay, with good characters, an interesting story, and nice scenes. So if you're searching for a forgotten, yet very fun third-person shooter PlayStation 2 game, this one may be really interesting for you.
It's Whitley. What's the situation?
Not good.
What do you mean?
The base is gone, Colonel. It looks like massive explosives damage.
Understood. Keep your team together and get them to shelter as quickly as you can.
The Thing is a unique third-person survival horror game released in 2002, and yes, it's based in the movie with the same name. The game was developed by the studio Black Label Games and released to Xbox, PlayStation 2, and Windows, but recently a remastered version of the game was released to Windows, Xbox One and Series, and PlayStation 4 and 5. You are J.F. Blake, leader of a U.S. Special Forces rescue team sent to investigate the blood-curdling events and enigmatic deaths of the American scientific team that transpired at the Outpost 31 research facility, located in the frozen wastelands of Antarctica. A game with multiple gameplay possibilities that will get you really connected to the story.
Men are dying out there.
You're out of your league here, Blake. This game is just beginning.
Alpha team, prepare for insertion. On my mark. Go, go, go!
Cold Fear is a forgotten but very cool third-person shooter game, mixing combat with survival horror features. It was developed by the studio Darkworks and released in 2005 to Microsoft Windows, PlayStation 2, and Xbox. In a ferocious Arctic storm, distress signals are sent from a mysterious Russian whaler. As leading Coast Guard veteran Tom Hansen, you board to investigate and discover unthinkable horrors lurking beneath the ship's blood-stained decks. Create fatal traps and use shotguns, flamethrowers, or any object you can find to survive. A game with nice graphics and mechanics for its time, really fun to this day.
Change, Marcus. Advance by 2. Anyone else hear that? Negative.
Pre-Christian era Rome. The empire had grown beyond its means, and the rule of the Senate elders had begun to fray at the edges.
Shadow of Rome is an absolutely great game that unfortunately was forgotten by the public and the developers, that was the studio Capcom. It was released in 2005, only on PlayStation 2, and to this day it's only available there. What's really bad, cause this game deserves more attention. Shadow of Rome is an action-adventure game played from a third-person perspective. The game features two forms of combat: close-quarters fighting with melee weapons and vehicular combat in the form of chariot racing. A game with a great combat, insane graphics, and unforgettable moments. If you have the opportunity, play it, you won't forget.
The people of Rome were exhausted, continually defending her from hostile neighboring states.
Nobody's innocent. Justice? It's an illusion. Uncertainty is the only sure thing. Uncertainty creates fear, and fear creates money.
Urban Reign is a 3D beat-em-up video game that was beloved by its fans, but today just a few people remember. The studios that brought us the game were Project Soul and Namco, and it was released in 2005, and so far it's the only version of the game. Urban Reign follows the exploits of brawler-for-hire Brad Hawk, who is hired to find a kidnapped gang member by the swordswoman Shun-Ing Lee. Brad fights his way through the street gangs of Green Harbor, a fortified city in the US. As he does so to get some answers, the true machinations of the protagonists reveal themselves and things become more complicated. A game that's really fun, especially playing with a friend.
Green Harbor. Just another urban labyrinth. The El Dorado. Full of fear to cash in on. Gangs rush in to get their hands on that gold. But those days are over now. My name is Brad Hawk. I'm a professional.
Project Snowblind is a futuristic and technological first-person shooter game. It was developed by the studio Crystal Dynamics and released in 2005 to Xbox, PlayStation 2, and Windows. Experience the dramatic intensity of the front lines of a war through the eyes of the first of a new breed of super soldiers in this gritty and epic first-person action game. An augmented super soldier must stop a renegade regime from eradicating the civilized world. A very fun game for you, fan of PlayStation 2 era, since it's a game that will give you nostalgia of those times, even if you've never played the game.
From your travels, but mesmerized at the sight of Baldur's Gate. Not only a town of myth and legend, but also a place where one can find fame and fortune round every corner. It is night as you enter the city, and it seems...
Baldur's Gate Dark Alliance is a game of this huge and beloved series nowadays that was released in 2001 to PlayStation 2 and other platforms of that time, and today it's also available on PC, Nintendo Switch, Xbox One and Series, and PlayStation 4 and 5. Experience the massively popular world of Baldur's Gate as never before. Dark Alliance thrusts you into an epic Dungeons & Dragons adventure filled with intense action, intricate puzzles and sinister intrigue, where your mastery of cold steel and devastating spells is the only thing between you and ultimate evil. So if you played the masterpiece called Baldur's Gate 3 and wants to explore the classic games of the series, this is a very good one.
Strangely deserted. But you soon discover that the night holds danger as well. And in an instant, that danger is upon you.
Indeed. Let's see what our little ambush has won us.
Darling! Son! Our troubles are finally over.
Red Dead Revolver is the first game of the most famous Western series ever, yet this one is still kinda unknown. It's really fun to play. It was developed by Rockstar Games and released in 2004 to PlayStation 2 and Xbox, but today there's a PlayStation 4 version and you can also play on the new Xbox consoles. This is not an open world game just like Red Dead Redemption. This is a linear third-person shooter with different levels of gameplay. Players may freely explore the small town of Brimstone between levels where they can interact with NPCs throughout the storyline. Players mainly assume the role of bounty hunter Red Harlow, but in some levels they get the chance to control other characters such as English trickshotist Jack Swift, Rancher Annie Stokes, Mexican Army General Javier Diego, and more. So if you like the series and never played this one, it's worth it.
We hit a vein of gold as wide as a locomotive that runs clean through Bear Mountain.
Hey, Pa, where'd you get that?
Isn't she a beaut?
Yeah. Can I hold it?
She's one of a pair, only two in the whole world.
Where's the other one?
My partner Griff has it. We made him up special to symbolize our newfound wealth.
Can I try it out?
One day this fine weapon will be yours. But for now, why don't you take my old pistol? Go on down to the river and practice while I give your ma her gifts.